I get strong opinions about things.
Really?
Yeah, don't say.
I think you need to be a little bit more forthcoming with how you really feel about something. Hello, 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 and welcome to Well Shit. It really is that simple. I'm Claire.
And I'm Serena. On this podcast, we help you to understand about your 12 universal needs, why they are currently not being well met,
how to meet them in ways that work for you, and how to consistently do so in quick, easy, and simple ways that fit seamlessly into your life.
We'll also help you to understand how doing so will have a positive ripple effect in literally every area of your life.
If you like what you hear, please support us on Patreon.
And enjoy the show.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, everyone.
So today is not a podcast that we had planned to record initially, but we had a few interactions this morning that really prompted us to share this. And initially, this may seem like it is only pertinent to business or how you would engage with somebody in a working environment. But actually, there's another layer underneath it that we're going to talk about. So just because we start talking about business, don't think, oh, it's not for me, I'm out, because there might be something that will apply to you in a little while as well. So you want to share a little bit about like the little magical mystery tour we went on first thing this morning and the interactions we had along the way?
Yeah, it was kind of... It was really interesting how it happened because we went into a restaurant that Claire frequents often. Mm-hmm. I do not frequent there often because I've had some experiences such as...
And when we say often, I'm like, I am a regular there. Like, I'm in there a lot. I've spent a lot of money there in the last year that I've been here.
And years before
that. And years before as well,
people
yes.
There. I mean, like,
absolutely.
The reason why I had eaten there in the past is because of Claire. That's actually where we had our initial...
So we had our first meal.
First meal together.
Look where we are now. Who'd have thunk it? Neither of us at that point in time, I'm sure.
Right? So there have been a couple of times that I went in there that I didn't feel like I was treated very well. Like, just as a general customer. Like, just...
Customer service was not good.
There was a little bit of, like... spice to the staff, and like they're just
it's just an edge of that doesn't feel. I think the thing is that especially as two people who've worked in the hospitality industry, and we know how easy it can be to make somebody feel welcome and to make someone feel appreciated and valued as a customer, especially when you're dealing with people who, because we've worked in the hospitality industry, we always make the effort to show up in a way which is polite and respectful and would engage in a way which a lot of people really appreciate and elicits a really great customer experience back.
So I already had a layer of my expectations are not high when I walk in.
Being really honest, Serena wouldn't go in there. She wouldn't go into this business again if it weren't for me. And actually, she didn't want to go in again. She kind of made the decision almost that she wasn't going to go in again. And then I suggested it as a meetup for somewhere we were going for dinner with another mutual friend of ours a few weeks ago. And she said to me, I was like, oh, I wasn't sure I was going to go back there again. But then you suggested it, and the person we were meeting was like, yeah, that sounds great. And actually, when we went in that time, it wasn't an amazing experience customer service wise, but
I didn't leave feeling crappy about it like I normally do.
Yeah, it was like, okay, it's not bad. It's not good, but it's also not bad. So okay, maybe I'll give him a chance.
And that's what I walked out of there being like, oh, I'm kind of surprised. Like all right.
I was expecting a crappy experience.
Right. Like, maybe there could be more occasions going there.
Yeah.
Then we went this morning to see if they had, we wanted to celebrate our podcast anniversary.
Yeah.
And there is a dessert that they almost always have on their menu. Like they may have some of the items come and go.
Occasionally they don't, but I would say of the times that I go in there, a good 85% of the time this is on the menu. Because they have a dessert menu that changes frequently.
So we walked in and immediately we saw that there were only 3 desserts and it's not on the board. Mm-hmm. So we're like, oh, All right, well, let's just ask. Like,
we'll just check, because, and this is to give context. This is an establishment which frequently runs out of things that are on the menu, and sometimes I have actually been in there in the past, and there's a server in there in particular who I get on really, really well with, and I've gone in there and said, oh, I wanted to have the chocolate pudding, for example. And she was like, oh, we're out of chocolate pudding. And then she's gone back and she's checked and found out that there was actually chocolate pudding and it wasn't on. She was like, how is it not on the menu? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just glad you got it. So I've been in there where the exact same situation has happened and somebody has gone and checked and found out that actually there is something, it just hasn't made it onto the menu yet. So there was context to this, like, well, let's just check. It wasn't it says that they haven't got it. And also, this was first thing in the morning.
It's like 10 a.m.
And so it may be that the menu hasn't been updated from the previous. There's a bunch of possibilities. And we thought, well, we'll just check and see what's up.
Well, we checked. And, you know, it was such like hey, just want to, I know it doesn't say up there, but like, just checking to make sure there isn't any in the back. And the response we get, if it's not on the board, we don't have it.
And I was like, okay, I was just checking. I know it's early and you're busy, so I didn't know whether maybe it hadn't been updated. I just wanted to ask. And there was a response of like but it wasn't like, I was like, oh no, of course, like always check. Like obviously if we have it, we want to make sure you had it. And I said, I had a situation where the same thing had happened. So I know that there are times when they have stuff up that isn't on the board. So, but it was just the energy around it was like, like it wasn't like oh sure, of course, like I'm so sorry. And like she did say, oh, I can go and ask and find out like when they're gonna have it available. And timing wise it didn't work, but even the energy around it was like, it wasn't like oh, just get, like, I'm just doing something, give me a sec, I'll go and check just to make sure, or to find out when. It felt like it was an inconvenience to her.
Like, I'll do this if you're gonna make me do it, but
right. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay. And we're obviously not meant to be getting our dessert from here today.
Right. And we walked out and we started having a conversation. I'm like, I really wanted to give him another chance. I was like, but I think I'm done with this place. Like we talk about the 80-20 rule a lot in the podcast and what we do. And it's like, I apply an 80-20 rule to establishments.
Yeah.
Like if 80% of the time I'm having a good experience and there's a 20%, like, okay, 20% is life, 20% is human, 20% is
busy times or
shit
someone
happens.
hasn't shown up for work or whatever, or especially in the current situation down here.
And I mean, life happens to people when they're not at work. So like,
right.
It's who knows what's happening with people on the other side of their job.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at Claire, I was like, 80% of the time I walk out of here swearing I'm never going to come back. And like,
I'm feeling crappy about the experience I've had in there. Like, not even just feeling like, oh, it was disappointing, but like actually feeling crappy. Yeah.
And we were talking about, how often Claire frequents there. And like,
and I said the person who was, and this is the thing, the person who was serving us today doesn't know I'm a regular. She's somebody who I think she's probably a seasonal member of staff. I've seen her for several years. So it's not like she's like new, but she doesn't realize how much time I spend in there. There is another member of staff in there who, if I walk in, it's like family walking in, like, oh, hey, like pick whatever table you want. Like she knows I'm in there all the time. She knows the amount of money I spend in there. She knows the amount of people I send there. And even if that weren't the case, but she knows I'm a regular and she takes care of me like a regular. And as we were talking about it, I said to Serena, like, there's a podcast episode in this of like, treat every customer like they're a regular, because when you treat someone like a regular, you're going to give a good experience to, because they're going to come back, or you want them to keep coming back, and the reason that they're going to keep coming back is because you have a great experience, or because they have a great experience. And so I was like, there's something in this, because so frequently people aren't treated like regulars. They're not even treated like just human beings. They're treated as inconveniences, and that's what gives people a bad rap in terms of like the business. And I said to them, the interesting thing is that this business has recently changed hands, and I'm like, I don't know whether the new owners are just kind of like seeing how things go for a period of time before they actually make changes. I don't know whether they realize that changes need to be made. I don't know whether, I don't know what the situation is, but I really want to give the place a chance because the food is really nice. And I think it's got the potential to be one of my favorite restaurants in town, but how it's currently behaving, like I'm going there in spite of the service, not because of it. And that's a really sad thing. But I was like, what if, like, so this person who didn't know I was a regular, what if she treated me like a regular, even though she didn't know I was a regular? I would come out of there going, oh my goodness, she didn't even know me. That was an amazing experience. Mm-hmm. I'm going back. And the interesting thing was we then went to somewhere else, which is another place that I frequent and another place that I'm there regularly. And I spend a lot of money there, and met somebody else who doesn't normally serve me, and somebody who didn't know me, and someone who didn't know I was a regular. And the experience was very different, wasn't it? Night and day.
I mean, it not even within the same realm of mm-hmm. experience. You would have thought, I mean, this is a restaurant that I often frequent, but not to the, I mean, Claire is a regular there. Mm-hmm. I frequent it.
Like a lot of the staff, as I walk in, will give me hugs as I'm walking in, that kind of a regular.
And it was actually kind of weird walking in and not having one of those people be right there.
Immediately there who's like greeting us and saying hi.
Yeah, there's usually at least one person, and everybody it kind of had gotten busy.
It was busy, yeah. And that's the other thing is that the second place that we went to was busy. It wasn't like this happened because they were in a lull.
Right. In the first place, wasn't.
It was, yeah. It was busy it looked busy for the number of staff they had on. Like in terms of, it looked like there was one person covering, and they had a number of covers. But still, it was, the second place I don't think was any less busy than the first. So that's not the thing that was the deciding factor.
So we were talking just general, Claire and I, we love people. So we were just talking to her, and we're talking about the pastries and talking about all the things. And the energy was like, just, I mean, it was friendly. It was kind of familial. Like, it was just like,
and she was listening to what we were saying about, because I'm vegan and I'm allergic to nuts, so there are only certain desserts I can have. She said, oh, you could have this one, or you could have this one, and what about this? She said, well, you like chocolate? Try these. They're amazing. Like, I have one almost every morning. Like, she was so engaging.
And then there was one point where Claire had mentioned one of her favorite pastries that no longer is made there. And she was like, I know that it's no longer made. She's like, no, I want to know this. This is what I need. Like, this is, I don't know.
They often, like, the people who are making the pastries often ask her what they should be, like, what else they should do. And she's like, this is my job. I want to feed back to them so that they can be doing more of the things that actually people here really enjoy, especially the regulars really enjoy. And it's funny because, like I said, at one point, like late on in the conversation, it came up that I was a regular, I said it was very busy in there. And she said, oh, like, who do you want to say hi to? I'll go and get them, like, to say hi to. And I'm like, they're busy right now. I know if they see me, they'll wave and they may come over and give me a hug, but I'm not going to disturb them with what they're doing right now. But even that, she was like, oh, I'll go and get this person for you to make sure that you get to say hi to your person, like your people, while you're in the restaurant. And it's like, oh my God. And it was such a stark contrast to the place that we've been first, to the place that we were in second, mm-hmm. night and day. It
made me want to go back to the second place. Like, I'm really excited to go back and to see her and
we asked her what her name was. She asked us our names. Like, and as often happens, and we'll get on to the third stop in a moment, is that often these people who are our servers in these places, or our bartenders in these places, become friends because of how we engage with them and how they engage with us.
I'm thinking of the bat symbol.
Oh yes, yes.
I mean, like, we really connect. We really try to connect with the people in the establishments we go to.
Absolutely.
And a story for another time just came to my mind, but it was based on the fact that we just connected and somebody treated us like we were regulars the first night we met them.
Yes,
And
absolutely. And we treated, and here was the thing, we also treated them like we were regulars. Like when I go into the places where I'm a regular, I want to treat the staff well because I want to have a good experience in there every time.
the only woman I know that will tip $10 for a glass of water.
Yeah, I will go in, like most people don't tip when they are drinking water. And I drink water pretty regularly because I don't always like to drink, or especially if I'm out salsa dancing, I'm like drinking and salsa dancing, I'm going to end up like in a heap on the floor. Too many spins. That's just it's not going to end well. And the amount of bartenders who will refuse my tip, and I'm like, you are still working. You're still pouring a drink. I would rather tip you $5, $10 now, and you keep me up, like filled up on water all night, than drink all night and then give you sometimes it's a $5, $10 tip on an entire night's worth of drinks. Like, I want to take care of the people who are taking care of me and vice versa. And actually, when you take care of the people who take care of you, they take care of you even better. There's one of the bars that I go to in town where, like, the pour I get on my bourbon is significant. Like, it will last me a while.
The Key West 3 count. Oh, so how are you doing today? Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, 1, 2. So, how's the dog?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And I know exactly the bartenders that I'm going to go to, and because they pour me well, I tip them well, and because I tip them well, they take care. Like, it's this kind of mutual taking care of each other. And it reminds me of there was a restaurant I went to in London. I don't know whether I've shared about this on a previous podcast, where I got to know one of the servers, and he said, like the next time I went in there, he was it was when many years ago I was living in London with somebody else, and the next time we went in there, we got free desserts, and so we tipped well, and we went back in there next time and we got free drinks. And like this, every time we went in there, they did something to kind of take care of us. And so I put a really good review on TripAdvisor, and I was like, if you can sit in Bruno's section, he'll make you feel like family. Like, named him in the review. And I was calling the person I was living with at the time, and he was like, I thought you might want to know I got accosted on my way back from the station today. And I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? What he meant was he'd walked past the restaurant, which he had to walk past in order to get to where we lived. And the server had been having such a crappy day. Somebody told him, like, have you seen the latest TripAdvisor review for this restaurant? He knew it was us. And literally ran out of the restaurant and hugged this person in the middle of the street. Oh my God, thank you so much for the review. It made my day. Come in, next meal's on me. And we're like, no. We didn't even think about that. We were regulars there. That was something we were going to go. The next time I went in, he was like, we sat down, and he was like, what would you like to drink? And I was like, oh, I'll have a margarita. He's like, picture of margarita. I was like, no, I'll have a margarita. He went, picture of margarita. I was like, okay, picture of margarita. And the person I was eating with, was drinking beer. His beer never got empty before it got refilled. And he was like, what would you like to start? So we had appetizers. Very rarely do I have a 3-course meal plus drinks on top, because I can't physically contain that amount of food and drink. But we had appetizers, we had a main course, and we split the dessert between the two of us. We asked for the check. He went, no, it's taken care of. It's all on me. And this was because we had he took care of us, which meant we took care of him, which meant he took care of us, which meant we take care of him. And this is the way that good customer service works. It builds and it grows, and it blossoms and it develops. And it's like, if you treated everyone, and I'm not saying everyone who goes into the bar, you need to give them free dessert and free drinks. And
it's not about spending money or getting free things. No. It's about being
cared
decent.
for and being valued, and being saying, like, I want to make sure you have a good experience here. And that good experience doesn't cost you money. It's not something you have to give them something for free. It's about going in there and being like, oh my, how was your day? Like engaging with people and showing them some kind of care for the experience they are going to have in the establishment that you're in. So then we went to stop number 3.
One of our favorites.
Mm-hmm. And there's a reason, and the people in there are the reason it's one of our favorites.
Yes. I mean,
we love the place and the coffee.
We love the place. We love the coffee. And what really, I mean, there's a lot of places that have good coffee on this island. Like that's one of the things down here. Like I feel very lucky to be in an area that has,
especially as someone who enjoys her coffee as much as Serena does. Yeah.
I think their coffee could suck. And I would still go there for these people because it was a cool little place we passed. We're like, oh, what's that? And so then we went and had...
Actually, no, the reason we went in there first time was because I had seen on one of the vegan food sites that they did vegan options.
That's right.
And so I was like, oh, I want to try, because most of the places in town here, even if they offer vegan options in terms of milks for coffee, they tend to offer almond, which I'm allergic to, or they offer soy. And I try to minimize my soy intake if I possibly can. And I was like, I wonder if there might be somewhere that would do a decent coffee with another option, oat milk or coconut milk. Let's go try this place out. So we did.
And from the moment we walked in, there was just an energy in there. We're like, I mean, it's like a funky, cool place, and just, I mean, there are crystals, swings. Like it's
an amazing mural on one of the walls.
It's a fun place. Yeah, fun places are great, but if the service isn't great,
oh my goodness,
I'm not gonna be eager to go back.
Right.
From the moment we walked in, we felt it was like a hug.
It was a customer service hug. That's what it was.
It really was.
Yeah.
And then every time,
but we got treated like regulars the first time we went in there. When they didn't know us.
It was.
And in fact, as I recall, the first time we went in there, or very soon after, I don't know whether it was the first or second time we went in there, we actually went in there on my Celebrate Being Alive day. And we went in there and we told the owner, we didn't know it was the owner at the time. We told the owner about the fact that it was my Celebrate Being Alive day.
That's how we met her.
And she shared that, oh my goodness, she said, I have the same thing. And it was like a week later or something where she'd had a near miss with a car accident on US 1, which is the big main road that comes from Key West up to the main island, the mainland. Big island. But yeah, and she was saying, and so that was like initially, like we just chatted about the things and she engaged with us and she was so nice and so friendly. And we're like, we really like this place. So now, like, if we are going to go out and work, if we want a different place to work where we don't need to be podcasting and doing certain things, that's where we go because we love it in there.
And it wasn't like, she brought us back the second time. We're like, oh, let's go, we want coffee. Like, let's go there. We really liked her. And then the next person we met
was also same thing.
Didn't know who we were. And at that point, we had only been in like one or two times.
Yeah.
Treated us like we were a regular. The next person we met there, same thing. And now it's funny, as we went today, I left there, I was like, there's something so familial about them. Like they're part of our family
down here.
And they came to support, like the entire group of them came to support the fundraiser that we were working on. And like, it just.
And today, like the owner came over and she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you had a podcast. Like, cause we were talking about the fact that we were recording today. And she said like at some point, if you want to come down and like record an episode here and we can talk about like local business collaboration and that sort of thing, like absolutely. And we're like, that sounds so cool. Like we would love to figure out a way of doing that. Like, and so support them because we've given them a shout out on previous episodes and we will, I'm sure, shout out again to them. Right now, Coffee House.
I was going to say, let's do the actual shout
out. Like the Coffee House in Key West is literally one of our favorite places on the island to hang out. And it's a funky space. Yes, there's comfy seats. Yes, the coffee's good, but it's the people that make the difference. So let's put a needs lens on this for a second. So when you treat somebody like a regular, what you are immediately doing is you're going to meet their love and connection need because there's a connection that's going to happen in doing that. You're going to meet their value need because their value need, you're saying you are important to us. Your business is important to us, but you are important to us. You're going to meet their emotional experience and expression need because they're going to have an emotion. The emotions they're going to experience when they are in your establishment are going to be different. There's an element of acknowledgement. There's so many needs that you meet, and that's only in the first 7 that we're talking talking. We're not even looking at the rest of the tree. There are so many needs that you will meet. Now, again, we know that we don't want to be dependent on other people to meet our needs. I don't need the people in the places I'm going to meet my needs for me. My needs are already met. But that's the kind of how it works. Because my needs are already met, them meeting needs on top of it, it's like, oh, this is awesome. Sprinkles on the Sunday, which we will come to in another podcast episode as well. But also, if someone's needs aren't well met, if, for example, their value need is compromised, and they come into your place and you make them feel important, they're like, this feels like a really good, like, I really enjoy spending time here. And they won't realize they're doing it because their value need is getting met and it's not met anywhere else. That's a subconscious thing. But when you meet the needs of your customers, and generally speaking, you will meet the needs of customers better if you believe that customer is a regular than you will if you believe they're just somebody off the street, generally speaking. Like, even if you are good at customer service, if someone comes in and you know them and you know that they spend time in your place, you'll be like, oh my God, it's so good to see you again. Thank you for coming back. Da, da, da. Like, it just goes to that extra level. Imagine how amazing your customer service would be if you treated everybody like a regular. Imagine what the experience would be of every person who walked through your door if you treated everybody like a regular. Imagine what they would be telling other people about your business if you treated everybody like a regular. Now, I said right at the beginning of this, it might sound like this is something that is only for the business folks. So stay tuned if you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure this one's for me. The same thing applies when you are meeting people in life. If you treat everybody you meet like you would a friend, it's amazing the friends you will discover that you otherwise might not have met. So if, just as you're going about day-to-day life, if you treat the strange, I mean, I remember before I went off to university, my mum was, my at the time boyfriend was having a conversation with my mum. I was upstairs and I happened to be coming out of the bathroom and I heard this part of the conversation. And he was like, I'm a little bit concerned about her, kind of, she's going away, she's going to be quite a distance from home and blah, blah, blah. And my mum said to her, oh, don't worry about Claire, strangers are just friends she hasn't met yet. And that's generally how I approach life. Now, I'm not saying that you continue to treat somebody as a friend if they're not treating you with respect or in a way that is in alignment with your boundaries, for example. Like, it's okay to step out of that if somebody's like, okay, this person is clearly not somebody I want to be treating like this because they're not treating me with decency and respect and respecting me as a human being. So it's okay to step out of that. But if you step into that space, and that's the reason that Serena and I make so many friends everywhere we go, because that's how we treat everybody.
Yeah, people are like, oh, you know so-and-so. It's like, well, I do now. Like, we just met. And they're like, wait, you just met them? And I'm like, yeah. Like, wait, weren't you just like hugging them? And it's like, yeah.
But because of the conversations we have, and we don't just necessarily hug anybody. Like, we have a conversation, we create a connection. And that connection, then normally it's like, oh, we're huggers. Like, oh, I'm a hugger too. Yes. I'll hug you as well. We're not just going to hug people if they're not comfortable with that.
Yeah, we're not just randomly hugging people.
No. But it's like the reason that we are regulars, the places that we are regulars is because how we get treated there. We talk about Bobby's Monkey Bar all the time. By the way, just a quick shout out. The second place that we stopped at today, I just realized we didn't do a shout out there, was Moondog. Moondog was the place that we got the pastries, and we spoke to the person there who didn't know us but still treated us amazingly well. We go to Bobby's Monkey Bar all the time. And part of the reason is we are treated like family in there. And even when they didn't know us very well. And there was a bartender who used to be in there who most people thought she didn't like them because she's a no-nonsense person. Well, we're also no-nonsense people. So we got on great with her. And like the amount of times that when she would kick us out, she's like, girls, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here like at 4 a.m. in the morning.
She'd be like, I love you, ladies.
Yes.
I love you.
And she was always like, get home safe. Like she was like, there was a genuine care for us. Same thing with Bobby, the owner of the bar. Like he was acknowledging us because he saw us in there regularly before we actually formed a connection and became friends. Mm-hmm. That's why we are now friends, because we appreciate how we get treated in that place, and that's the place we want to go back to. Not only is it the place we want to go back to, it's the place we want to send other people to, because we want to make sure that place is there for a long time to come. Mm-hmm. It's one of our favorite places on the island. In order for it to be there for a long time to come, it needs to get business. So we want to send business there. We want to support our friends. We want to support our little island family here, the people who we've have adopted us as part of their little extended family, and we've adopted as part of our little extended family. It's why we always send people to the coffee house. It's why when people ask me on a good restaurant recommendation, go to Moondog. Like these are the places that we send people because of how we get treated while we are there. And the same thing, as I said, is true. Like if you take the same approach in terms of being somebody who, how you engage with somebody, they're going to feel valued because of how you engage with them. They're going to feel connection because of how you engage with them. They're probably going to have a different, an emotion that they're going to enjoy because of how you engage with them. It's remarkable how many friends you kind of pick up along the way without intending to. Like you don't go out with like Serena and I don't go out in the morning and be like, hey, let's go make some friends today.
Right. How many friends did you get today?
Right,
well,
exactly.
Got 4. Well, I got 7.
And so by the end of the day, it's like, oh, well, we met so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. I hit the pop screen again. And so-and-so and so-and-so. And that's how, I mean, the interesting thing is that this is how we got involved with the organization that we helped with the fundraiser with. I was out at a bar. I knew one person. I happened to get chatting to the person who I didn't realize at the time was the co-founder of the nonprofit. Initially, he had an amazing necklace on that I was like, oh my God, I love that. What stone is it? And we got chatting and everything. And then I just started talking to him as if he was a friend. The next thing you know, he is a friend and a very good friend. And we're helping support this amazing organization. It's just magical when that happens. And it's such a miss for companies and people who don't operate this way in the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not saying that you need more friends. It's not saying that you want more friends necessarily, but how it can, like, you can discover these gems of people that otherwise you might not have met by doing it this way. And certainly from a business standpoint, from a customer service standpoint, I mean, I know someone who used to work in the restaurant industry, and he said you're only as good as your last meal. What he actually meant is you're only as good as your last experience. And the truth is that I keep going to this place because I like the food in spite of the service. But it's going to get to a point where it's like, if I don't trust that I'm going to have a good experience in there, more importantly, if I don't trust that the people I'm going to bring are going to have a good experience. Like most of the time, there's normally one person in there who might, like today was unusual. There was nobody there who knew me, which is quite rare. So normally, even if there isn't the person I'm serving me doesn't know me, someone else will be like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, it's good to see you and everything. That's what happened last time that we went. Mm-hmm. But it's like, if I am concerned that when I go in somewhere that the person I'm with is going to have a bad experience, I'm not going to go in there with that person. I'm going to go to one of the places I know they're going to have a good experience, because every time I go there, I get treated like a regular, and and the people I bring there are treated as friends who are important and valued and welcome.
I actually had an experience this past weekend where I experienced both elements at the same place within the span of
I remember you telling me that
5 minutes of each other. And we're using kind of the customer service just because it's kind of the easy,
it's an easy frame for it.
Easy frame for it. We were out for my husband's birthday, and we decided, all right, let's grab one drink before we all went home. So we went to a bar that a couple of our friends frequent. Joe and I really don't frequent bars in general. So we aren't regulars, except for Bobby's. But I mean, we really aren't regulars.
And that's not because it's a bar. It's because of the karaoke and the people that are there, basically.
So we went in, and the bartender was so lovely. And I actually commented, I was like, this is kind of a weird thing to say. I was like, your energy is so bright and just like so inviting. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much for that compliment. Like it was like just like a friendly conversation. And it was like, I've known her forever, but I obviously hadn't. Like I had just met her. Yeah. And she was friendly with one of the people that I was with. So I went to pay my tab, and there was a 20% locals discount on it. I'm like,
and like, to give context, we live on a tourist island, and so the locals discount, a lot of the places here will give a discount to locals to basically be like, thank you for coming too, because we know there's a lot of tourists here, but we really appreciate your custom.
Yes. So she gave this to us, and great. I wasn't expecting it. Didn't know they did a locals discount.
Apparently they don't.
Apparently they don't. So she closed out our tab because she was switching the shifts. They were switching shifts, and the new set of bartenders came in, and we put in another order for drinks. And then when that tab came out, there wasn't a locals discount on it. We were like, oh, all right. So one of my friends was like, hey, we are locals. Can we get the locals discount? And this new bartender looked at us and she's like, it's actually not a locals discount. It's a regulars discount. And we were like, okay. Like, we obviously knew about the discount because we had just received it. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, I don't know you guys. So
she said it's only if the bartender knows you and I don't
know you. Well, obviously the bartender before did.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. A bar that I don't normally go to, I was almost enticed to go to more because the first bartender was like, wow, this is a good experience at a bar here. Like, I enjoyed this. Then I got, the second experience made me be like, I don't want to go back there anymore. Yeah. And I don't want to send anybody in there because
I don't know which one they're going to get.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I get strong opinions about things.
Really?
Yeah, don't say.
I think you need to be a little bit more forthcoming with how you really feel about something.
I don't sugarcoat, but I don't actively go out to, like, I won't, if I have a bad experience, that's my own experience with an establishment, I'm not going to go trash talking them and like deliberately trying to...
not unless they're doing something harmful.
Yes. Yeah. Just bad customer service. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna poke the bear.
Right. You're not going to deter people from going there, but you're not going to send people there either.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I love a place,
oh wow,
I'm the best marketing you could have, because I'll hear people walking down the street and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I overheard your conversation. Do you mind me interrupting? And then I'll then promote it.
They'll be questioning, like, where do we go for key lime pie, or where do we go for after dinner drinks, or where do we go for a specific type of food? And because we know the island well, we're always listing on them. We're like, because we want people to have a good experience here. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to overhear your conversation, but actually if you're looking for this, go here. Like, they've got this and this and this, and this is an amazing thing. Or like, you're looking for the best key lime pie, go to this place because they have an ability for you to try 2 different pies in one dessert, so you can try 2 of them and decide which one you like the best. So it's like there's a lot of that we will send people places a lot when that happens.
And if somebody mentions one of the places that's on my no-go list, if they mention it to me, I'll be like, you may want to try this place instead.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to say don't go here, but I'm going to say here's another option.
And if they ask, well, why? I'll be like, well, maybe the food's good, but service is hit or miss.
Yes.
Like,
and it's not like, oh, well, you see, when I went there, this, and this. You're not going to trash talk them, but you're going to be honest about the fact that it's not somewhere that you would particularly recommend. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember like one of the bars that I often will go and listen to local bands who, like, I've got friends who play in a local band, or several local bands. One.
Band.
Yeah. Several local bands, so I will often go along to, so I end up in bars more frequently probably than Serena does because of that reason. But I often I often don't drink. I will often drink water when I'm in there. But the interesting thing is that there are certain bars that I will go to now, and I remember there was one. They've got an indoor area and an outdoor area, and I come in and the outdoor was busy, so I went and got my drink indoors. Now, the indoor section closes early. The outdoor stays open much longer. And the guy who was the bartender, again, knew me, knew I was a regular. I went in there and, I mean, literally, I don't even have to, he just has to see me and my drink is already in front of me. He knows what I'm going to order before I've even opened my mouth. So that alone is like, I really appreciate that, because you've taken the time to remember what my order is and you don't want me to wait. You just want to make sure that I'm taken care of. So I remember that I was at a set and I got distracted with the music, and all of a sudden I turned around and I was like, oh my goodness, like inside is closed up, and like you can tell because all the seats are like the stools are on the bar and the seats are on the tables and everything. And I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't closed my tab. And I know that when they close up, they cash out that register and they will go. So I go in and I'm so sorry. He wasn't in there. And I was like, do you know where this bartender is? And I don't know. So I'm like, if he's cashed out, he's probably in the office counting up, like, I know where the office is. So I go and knock on the door of the office and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, do you need me to pay my tab? And he was like, I got you. Don't worry. Like he paid my tab. Like, it was only one drink, but he bought my drink for me and didn't, like, I was still in the bar. He knew where I was. He knew I was in another area of the bar. If he needed to get the tab taken care of, he would have come and found me. He's like, I got you. Don't worry. And then, like, a couple of weeks ago, we were at a different bar, or I was at a different bar, and I saw him walk in to sit and actually have a drink himself. So I called the server and I was like, can you put one of whatever he's having on my tab, please, and give him a drink? And like, thank you. And it's like, look, we take care of each other because that's what you do when you care about people. And again, it's not about spending money. It's not about not getting stuff for free. That's just one example of how sometimes people do this. It's just about showing care, like remembering what someone's like, remembering that I'm going on vacation in a week or so. There are certain people who will be like, oh my goodness, like how long is it until you go? Or like, how long till you see your family or what have you? Those things matter. And when you take care of your every single member of your customer, every single customer who comes through your doors, and you treat them the way that you would treat a regular, it takes your customer service experience to another level. And when I say take care of them like a regular, what you end up doing is you end up meeting their needs better when you treat them like a regular than you do if they're just Joe Nobody who you've never met before. And being on an island like this, a lot of the time there's tourists here who literally could be on a cruise ship for a day. They'll walk in, they'll walk out, you'll never see them again. I have an accent, so people assume that I'm a tourist here. They don't assume that I'm here like on any kind of long-term basis. So the assumption is that I'm a tourist. So if someone treats me like a regular the first time, I really appreciate them because they are giving me, they're meeting my needs irrespective of, they're not making a judgment about whether they're going to see me again, whether they want to take care of me because I'm going to be in there regularly and they want to get the good tips or what have you. They're just taking care of me and my needs because they care about providing good customer service. Anything you want to add to this? I know there's so much more we could say about this. There's so much more we could say and we will do on further podcast episodes, but anything more to finish off for today?
I am good right now.
Awesome. Right. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'm like curious to hear what your experiences are with this. Like, I know that the customer service is one of those things that like people, it riles people because it's often so easy to give good customer service. It's not that difficult. So like if you've had experiences where you've had those amazing experiences, let us know. If you've had the experiences that aren't so great, let us know about those as well. And we'll use them if you would like us to, or if you're happy for us to, in future episodes where we can give examples where maybe of the situations that you've experienced, because this is going to come up again and again because it's such a fundamental thing to do with needs that so many businesses get wrong. But when you're the business that gets it right, if you are the one business in an area or in an industry or in a location that gets it right, your business is going to thrive in a way that I don't actually think people realize what a difference it will make.
There's no way that they could.
No. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with us. We'll see you again next time. And remember between now and then to take care, to stay safe, and remember to keep meeting your own needs. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye, friends.
That's it for today.
If you like what you heard, please subscribe, rate, and give us a written review,
as it will help more people find us. And remember, if you want to give amazing customer service, treat every customer like a regular, because that way you're going to go above and beyond in meeting their needs.
Well, shit. It really is that simple.